Hey guys, I'm Bob, and in this review, we're testing out the Halo Elite 4-burner griddle. I got this off Amazon, and I believe it was freighted directly from Halo. My lovely wife and daughter blessed me with assembling this unit, and from what they said, it wasn't too hard to assemble. First impressions, it's an absolute unit. The whole thing weighs almost 170 pounds, with roughly 37.5% of that weight being just from the griddle. The griddle weighs, according to my scale, 64 pounds. I measured the cooking surface of the griddle at just shy of 36 inches wide by 19.5 inches deep and 4.4 millimeters thick. The griddle was sufficiently smooth with no high spots. It has 4 burners with 8 zones, and each burner is 12,000 BTUs for a combined 48,000 BTUs. So how it works is you can't turn on these back burners independently of the front. Each one of these front burners can be turned on independently, but the back burners are turned on by feeding them gas from the front burners. This allows for a variety of different heat zones when you're cooking. The griddle comes with a 2-position regulator that can be set to a 9.5 inch or 11 inch water column. You get slightly lower temps with the 9.5 inch water column, and I found the 9.5 inch setting to be plenty hot enough for everything I do. Halo claims it's a windproof design, but I may have found a chink in that claim when I seasoned this griddle on a 40-ish degree, very windy day. After cleaning the griddle with soap and water inside, I applied a very thin layer of avocado oil. I went with avocado oil for its high smoke point. I use old t-shirts because regular paper towel leaves a lot of lint behind. Now you can see here in this initial seasoning this dark band that begins to form in the center. This was the first area to get hot, and it stayed the hottest. And it happened fast. This griddle gets hot very fast. In just 7 minutes, the center of the griddle was 450 degrees. It eventually started to even out, but this area in the back never got hot enough to polymerize the avocado oil. Now, in all fairness, I picked a horrible day to do this. It was extremely windy, and there was a steady stream of cold air blowing right into these vents. As you can see here, the back of this griddle is wide open with these vents. I also noticed if you look at these burners, there is evidence they run hotter in the center. Now, I thought I could just flip this griddle plate around and keep seasoning, but you can see here it doesn't fit. At this point, the only thing to do is just cook on it and see what happens. My very first cook was fried bologna grilled cheese sandwiches. This is an easy one. My family's out and I only have one kid at home for lunch today. It was extremely windy, but I had no problem heating the griddle with the exception of the back. These cooked up super nice, super even, and this is one of my all-time favorite sandwiches. Another son came home and saw me cooking, so he brought me out a steak. I got a decent sear on it and was able to pull it off the heat and let it come to temp on a cooler zone I set up on the other side of the griddle. On this same windy day, I made breakfast for dinner, and this is where this griddle comes in handy for my family. Because I have what some would consider a large family. We're a family of 9, and sometimes, depending on what we're making, it's kind of a pain with limited space on the burners. With this griddle, I was able to make a ton of pancakes very quickly, and they were so good I made them the next day for actual breakfast. At one point, I cooked 20 pancakes at the same time. I cooked my pancakes on a 300-degree surface, and the Halo got there inside of 5 minutes. But you do have to keep an eye on the temps, because even at the lowest setting, this griddle will reach 600 degrees before you know it. I shut the griddle off completely for the second batch, and thanks to the insane beefiness of this griddle plate, the heat retention is insane. Once the temp dropped below 300 degrees, I turned them back on. Now, I became a cooking fool on this thing and quickly realized this griddle is amazing for our situation, where we cook large portions of food. I made fried rice, and this is like 15 cups of cooked rice on this thing, and I still have room for more. This was so simple. First, I sauteed some garlic and onion, I pushed it over to the cool zone I made, then I laid down my rice, added the onions and garlic, then some frozen peas and carrots, then off to the side I scrambled about 8 eggs. Mixed that all together and added some soy sauce, then oyster sauce, And then bam, we had some fried rice with sweet and sour chicken we made inside. Over the course of time and a few more cooks, the seasoning began to fill in the back, and I noticed more even temps on the griddle surface on less windy days. And it also helped to position the griddle so the wind was not blowing in the back vents. I came to appreciate the zones I was able to create. Here I just have the right two burners on, and you can see I have this nice gradient of heat across the griddle surface. A great feature of this griddle is the fold-away rack. This is great for keeping food warm, and it folds out of the way if you need it to. One thing to note, if you're putting greasy food on it, keep it away from the back or it will drip down out of the opening. And speaking of greasy food, this thing makes great bacon. I put it on a cold griddle and brought it up to temp, and this was some of the best looking bacon I've ever made. Halo sells separately these utensils, and they have magnets that can be placed on the side trays. These magnets work well, but for the heavier utensils, you're better off storing them on these removable handles that also double as the carrying handles for the griddle. You can imagine at 64 pounds, this griddle is a little tough to handle by one person, but these handles are necessary to maneuver it in and out. The side trays also fold down and out of the way and are sufficiently sturdy. Halo also sells these grease trap grates, and these work great. You can slide them in and out, and they're great for keeping food on the griddle that might otherwise slip into the grease trap. The grease trap is this nice covered unit that fits securely in the back. I bought these Halo liners to make cleanup easier. The griddle also has a nice built-in squeegee to clean off your utensils. The griddle comes with a magnetic level and wrench to make minor level adjustments to the casters. Careful here because you could pull out the wheel as I did off camera. I found my griddle with no adjustment made and on level ground to be slightly angled towards the back, which isn't a huge deal because I prefer the grease to run towards the back anyways. The propane tank holder is in the perfect position and makes the unit nice and balanced. The propane hose is the exact perfect length, although I'd probably like it a few inches longer. What's nice about this unit is the whole thing comes off the legs and you can use it as a countertop unit, or even put it on a picnic table. And basically you just unscrew these. There's 4 of them. There's one there, one on this side, and then 2 on the back here, right there and there, and the whole thing will pop off and you can put it on a table. Then it's also got these legs here that go, and you can adjust these for your level. Oh, and I can't forget the lid. I love the lid on this thing. I cooked these potatoes in 20-degree temps, and it was great keeping the lid down and the steam in. It also worked fairly well for melting cheese, but I'll probably still buy a dome for flexibility. So far, I am completely satisfied with this griddle. It's a robust, well-built tank of a unit, and one that I'm guessing will hold up to the abuse my family will put it through. I really enjoy cooking on this griddle, and I would suggest if you do get a griddle, get the largest one you can, because it's so nice to have that extra space when you need it. And for smaller cooks, you can just heat one section of the griddle. If you do a lot of cooking or you cook for a lot of people, this is a very helpful and useful tool. I did get the cover for this unit and it fits perfectly. However, I have not tested it in the elements yet. So far, I have been storing it in my garage. I do wish the cover draped down over the legs to give them some protection. I'll leave links in the descriptions for all of the stuff we talked about today. That's it for this review. God bless, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Hurry up, it's freezing!
I know, my hands are so cold.
What is it? 19. Yikes.
Oh no, it's dripping down. This is the best pancake, but weirdest pancake ever.